ABC. Cheers. It's Friday night, and I'm back for another video. Having a delicious nut brown ale from a local brewery, Blackstone Brewery. Very nice. In the background, we're listening to DJ Spooky, Optometry. This is on Matt Ship's Blues series on Thirsty Ear. With Matthew Ship on piano, William Parker on bass, Joe McPhee on tenor, Guillermo Brown on drums, and DJ Spooky on laptop kalimba turntables, upright bass. From 2002, back when they were doing a lot of, Matthew Ship was especially involved in a lot of electronica experiments. He made a bunch for Thirsty Ear, and they kind of said that's it. But I really like this stuff. Want to give a shout out to Trish Mullins, DJ Trish. Thank you so much. Got a package from VCLT. Nice note. And we have Merry Christmas 2013. And another mix CD, Boogaloo Party. Yeah, this is cool. You know, when I saw folks on the VC were getting these, I was thinking, oh gee, I hope I get one. Thanks, Trish. Merry Christmas to you. That's so cool. So like I said in my last video, I got this email from The Great Escape, another record store here in Nashville, saying they'd gotten in 1,200 jazz LPs they were putting out last Friday. I've been really trying not to spend too much money on records, but how could I not check it out, right? Well, I was unable to get there on Friday. I figured when I went on Saturday, it'd be mostly picked over. And I guess it kind of was. I don't know what was there before, but I picked up a bunch of things because, you know, they were pretty cheap, and there were a lot of really interesting VC bait there that was a little on the pricey side, and I couldn't risk it. But there were a couple things, and there were a bunch of really interesting titles that were clearly reissues, maybe even bootlegs. Pirated editions, really hard to tell. And this was one of them, but it's a record that I never ever see, so I took a chance on it. This is Kawaida, Tootie Heath. This originally came out in 1969 on Obey Records. Let's see the label there. Has Buster Williams on bass, Don Cherry on trumpet, and Tume on conga drums, Herbie Hancock on piano, Jimmy Heath on tenor sax, Ed Blackwell on percussion, Billy Bonners on flute, Tootie Heath on drums, obviously. This is a really important transitional record, particularly in Herbie Hancock's discography, because it has, you know, Buster Williams went on to play in the Mwandishi sextet, septet. I love that period, and you know, Herbie doesn't play electric keyboards here, but he's playing acoustic piano in a really interesting way. This is pretty out spiritual jazz. It's excellent. If it's a boot, and it might be, it's kind of noisy. I don't know, so what? Kawaida, excellent. Also found a book there, incidentally. You'll know when you get there, Herbie Hancock, the Mwandishi Band by Bob Gluck. This Came out last year on University of Chicago Press, and I've had it on my Amazon want list forever, but I just, you know, these academic press hardcover books are expensive, and I just couldn't pull the trigger. Well, $4. Hardcover with the dust jacket. Looks like it was never read. Pretty interesting. I mean, that Moandishi band with Eddie Henderson and Benny Maupin and Buster Williams, Billy Hart, Patrick Gleason, synthesizer on some of those things. Really interesting period. And I could be wrong, but this may be the first, you know, serious monograph on Herbie. Certainly on that period of his career. About halfway through, I'm almost done. It's a little dry. I found some typos, which always bums me out on an expensive, well, not for me, but expensive university press. It's like, come on. But, you know, I love this kind of stuff. You know, if only for the bibliography and the notes. Cool, for $4, totally cool. I'm going to go in order of interestingness, and I'm going to try to not go on and on and on. So, Fred, big star, start to get bored, just switch me off. So, cheers. Big find, for me anyway, was this Alice Coltrane record, Transfiguration. It's on Warner Brothers. From, it was recorded live at UCLA, April 16th, 1978. It's just a trio. Reggie Workman on bass, Roy Haynes on drums. Came out in 1978. Double album. See, it's a promo. Gatefold. Beautiful condition. She plays a lot of electric organ on this, which some folks maybe could do without. I love it. I think she's awesome. This is, you know, without any horns, it's just all Alice all the time. You know, there's a drum solo and a bass solo, but you know, it's great. You don't see her stuff out, although this is the second Alice Coltrane record I found there in the last couple months. So, yeah, this is awesome. Maybe not to everyone's taste, but I dig it. This is a pretty common record. This is Forest Flower, Charles Lloyd at Monterey, Atlantic from 1967. It wasn't terribly expensive, it was filthy, but I could tell the vinyl looked pretty good. Cleaned up great. Some light damage on the spine there. This is in mono. And I think it's an original. The purple and orange label. Cleaned up great. You know, I've been trying to pick up Charles Lloyd records when I see them, and you see this one out there a lot, but usually it's kind of trashed. This is great. You know, his band with Keith Jarrett and Jack DeJohnette, Susan McBee. What is there to say? Super happy to find a clean mono original. Another fantastic record. Lou Richard Abrams, Lythea Blinick. This is a DJ copy on Arista Novus from 1978. Yeah. This record is awesome with Will and Richard Abrams on piano, percussion, voice synthesizer, Joseph Jarman on reeds, including bassoon, some great bassoon on here. Flute, percussion, Douglas Ewart on clarinets and reeds, some bassoon, yep. Amina Claudine Myers on piano, percussion, and voice, and Thurman Barker on drums. It's got this nasty cutout, but otherwise mint, except for after the first track, Bud P, dedicated Bud Powell, real swinging number. Looks like whoever played this, it gets into the second title track, like the Oblinik, which is totally crazy with the vocals and screaming and talking, and obviously he didn't like it and ripped that needle right off the surface. So there's kind of a scratch there, but it just ticks and it goes away. And you know, for a couple bucks, it's otherwise super clean. This is great. You know, avant jazz, AACM, Chicago stuff. One of his best records, definitely. Another record I've been looking for. It's not super rare or anything, but I have a hard time finding it. It's Julian Priester, Peppo Matoto. Sorry, I'm tired. Love Love on ECM. This is from 1974. This is related to that Moendishi band too. Patrick Gleason was in that band briefly, and Julian Priester, of course, was part of that band. And then we have some people I'm not familiar with. Hadley Calaman on flute, soprano, tenor saxophones, bass clarinet. Bayet Umbra Zindico on Fender Rhodes, acoustic piano, clavinet. Henry Franklin on bass. Nadugu, Leon Chancellor, yeah, drums. Bill Connors on guitar on a track. Anyway, this is killer in that post-Miles electric, free funk kind of great, just great compositions, great arrangements, great sounds. The cover is beat to hell. It's obviously changed hands a bunch of times, people peeling off the sticker. But the vinyl plays great. Really super happy to find it for like $3. Another record, the cover's beat, but the vinyl plays great. Larry Coryell's Planet End. Vanguard, 1975. Killer fusion. 11th House is on some of this. John McLaughlin and Chick Corea, Miroslav Itu's Billy Cobham play on a track. A couple tracks, looks like. Yeah, Larry Coryell, killer. Again, just a few bucks because the cover's trashed, but the vinyl cleaned up. Great, super happy to have it. Next up is Chico Freeman, Beyond the Rain. This is on Contemporary from 1978. Yeah, Chico Freeman. I mentioned picking up a Chico Freeman record in one of my earlier videos and being blown away. That was The Outside Within on Indian Navigation. This is recorded the same year, a little bit earlier. This is great. This is great. Chico Freeman on tenor, Hilton Riz on piano, Jeannie Booth on bass, Elvin Jones on drums, and Joe Santos on percussion. They do 2 Muhal Richard Abrams pieces on here. They're fantastic. Original Beyond the Rain by Chico Freeman, and then a wild cover of My One and Only Love. Like that album, The Outside Within. This is outside and inside. It goes way out there. Great New Thing style post-Coltrane stuff, but it also reins it in and can be pretty and melodic and straight and swinging. It makes it work. It's not like it's schizophrenic and going back and forth. It integrates it into you know the whole history of jazz all at once. You know, it was that time period where that was the thing. This is great. Jacket's in great condition. Vinyl a little noisy. I wouldn't mind finding a better copy of this. Super great. Next is a record I saw on the VC that I otherwise might be like, it's on CTI, which is a label I'm not super fond of. I have a few things on CTI that are kind of cheesy. This, Joe Farrell's Song of the Wind. Great band, Chick Corea, Jack DeJohnette, Dave Holland, John McLaughlin. He doesn't play on every track. Great cover. This has kind of an ECM look. It has kind of an ECM sound. This is, I'm not sure when this is recorded. So, you know, for like $2-3, I was super psyched to get it. It was great interior. What is this from? Recorded in 1970, so yeah. Jacket's in great condition. Vinyl looks good, but again, it's noisy. I'd like to find an upgrade with this because it's a fantastic record. I mean, really, I would have. Joe Farrell, you know, it's sort of like Chico Freeman. Joe Farrell, I mean, I was familiar with this stuff with Return to Forever and that kind of thing, but I was kind of put him over there as like, you know, second tier player or something. He's great on this. This record's fantastic. Yeah. Next up is Benny Maupin, Moonscapes. This is on Mercury from 1978. Oh, big year, 1978. Great cover. It's pretty funky in places, almost kind of disco-y in places. This isn't a great record. There's some really great, nice tracks, but I'm happy to have it. There were a bunch of McCoy Tyner records on Milestone, which, as you know, if you've been watching my channel, I've been picking up because they're all great. The only one that looked even remotely playable was this one, Atlantis. Great cover. Double LP, recorded live, 1975. At the Keystone Corner in San Francisco. Great music, really surprisingly aggressive, you know, in that late Coltrane kind of feel. Great band with Azar Lawrence, Junie Booth, Wilby Fletcher, Guillermo Franco. But the vinyl's beat, you know, and while a lot of these Milestones, the vinyl might look rough, but plays great. This not only looks rough, it plays rough. Particularly side 2, I think they really liked that side. Sokos, it'll be a placeholder until I find a better copy, which shouldn't be hard because these are not hard to find records. Some ECMs. There was a lot of ECMs. Again, a lot of them were trashed. But this looked unplayed. Egberto Gismonti, Sanfona. It's a double album on ECM from 1981. One disc is with Academia de Danzas. The other disc is solo. In the group setting, Gismonti plays mostly piano. I kind of prefer him as a guitarist. The solo side, the solo disc is really mellow. A beautiful ECM record. Not essential, but glad to have. This is one, you know, I used to have. I've been trying to, you know, get the old Chick Corea records. Return to Forever. This thing is Stone Mint. 1972. This might be a late pressing. I don't see a barcode or anything. Anyway, mint, beautiful. Not much to say about this. You all know Return to Forever, right? Last ECM I picked up was Ralph Towner, Batik. Some writing on the cover there, but it's not like it's an exciting cover to begin with. This is a trio with Eddie Gomez, Jack DeJohnette. Beautiful. You know, I love Ralph Towner. Promo stamp. This is from 1978. Again, 1978. Boy, a lot of records came out in 1978. Maybe not as essential as Solstice. Definitely not as essential as Solstice. That's a classic. But this is great. Great playing. Great atmosphere. Great sonics. Just classic ECM. Another record on CTI. I didn't have. You know, I grew up hearing this. Never owned it. Saw it for a couple bucks. Alan Holdsworth, Velvet Darkness. That iconic cover. Just kind of sad to look at now. Yeah, you know, I don't know how. I don't think Van Gelder was all that good at recording electric guitar. This kind of rockish stuff. It has kind of a cloudy, compressed sound. But yeah, killer musicianship. You know, classic fusion record. Speaking of classic fusion records, Weather Report's first album. Yeah, I never owned this, believe it or not. And I've been looking for it, and it's really hard to find in good condition. It's a super common record. As you can see, this has a bunch of ring wear, as almost every copy I've ever seen does. This is probably a mid-70s pressing. It's still a tip-on cover. Cover's kind of beat, but the vinyl is near mint. I mean, it plays great. And there's a lot of quiet music on here, and the vinyl is flat and quiet and smooth and really nice record. I've almost completed my Weather Report collection. Yeah, one more to go. Finally, and this is another record from my childhood. I loved this record in 77, 78. I was a teenager. And sold it. And then ever since, kind of wish, I had it. Every few years, I'm like, oh, I wouldn't mind hearing that. And, I'm not embarrassed. This is Al Jarreau. Look to the Rainbow. Live, recorded in Europe on Warner Brothers. It's another one of those records that common as hell. Yeah, I mean, it sold a zillion of these. But usually the cover is trash, lots of ring wear, and the vinyl's usually trash. This, again, mint, unplayed. I don't think it was ever played. Listened to it last night. Liz and I were dancing around, and she'd never heard it before. She loved it. It's classic 70s, Fender Rhodes, keyboards, and I don't normally go for jazz singing, and if I heard this today, without that context, I might not like this so much, but it was like visiting an old friend, Maybe he hasn't aged well, but it was fun. That was my haul. I left a bunch of interesting stuff in the bins. Maybe I'm just not that much of a record collector. Super to have these though. Listen to them all. So yeah, that's it. Trish, thank you again for the mixes. Totally awesome. Listening to these in the car. I want to wish you all the season's greetings. Cheers, VC. I'll see you soon.